I'll tell you what, some days are better than others as far as situations that you should be trading. And I'm not a big fan of FOMC days. They're very unpredictable. Um, I ended up today plus like 400 and something dollars, which you know what? That's not a bad day's work. But I left the entire afternoon alone, and really nothing followed through that well this morning. If it wasn't for trading the way we teach in our course, right, which is defense first, scalping some quickly when you get a stock at an inflection point, you get in, you get a little volume, you take some off the table, and you protect the rest. Um, you can make money without risking much. So I'm a big fan of defense first. You got to stay in the game. And again, $400 in one morning is nothing to sneeze at. That's a good morning, right? And I basically took the afternoon off because very choppy. So if you look at today now, it looks like an uneventful day. If we go to intraday, you can kind of see where you can. Hold on, I have extended hours on here. I don't want that on there. Time templates. All right. You can kind of see where the volume comes in after the FOMC announcement. It looks like it initially took off to the downside, then almost took out the high of the day, back to the lows. Then you think you're going back to the highs, and then huge flush, right? And then people get short, and then next thing you know, it's right back to about where it started when the FOMC announcement came out. That is, this kind of action here to me is so unpredictable, and it's a crapshoot. It's throwing darts, and so I just leave it alone. You know what? I don't need to make money every morning and every afternoon and trade every day, right? It's all about being consistent and steady and taking what the market gives and knowing, and frankly, when to sidestep the market. And this is too unpredictable for me. So anyway, but if you go back to the daily here, we're just still hanging out near all-time highs. So what do we do with that? We just build a watch list for tomorrow. There's nothing compelling about this chart whatsoever, this HTGM, except in after hours they had news and it's trading at 410. So a nice gap up due for tomorrow morning, possible gap and go. This one totally cut loose back here in March. Now that we know it's a low float and can fly, it's certainly one to watch tomorrow. I don't just blindly take these. They have to meet certain rules after the market opens, and then I'll get involved if they don't meet those criteria, I should say. I just don't get involved. But it's a good candidate for a possible squeeze tomorrow, so we're going to keep our eyes on HTGM. XGTI, I loved this thing this morning. I loved it over yesterday's high, which was 206. So I loved it at 207. And let's look at the opening, how it traded at the open. I love the fact that it opened and sold off a bit, right? And actually sold off down a little bit more, and all of a sudden volume came in. So I got long right here, called it out right around $2 in anticipation of red to green, then a high of daybreak, and then a break of yesterday's high. That's what we call stacked catalysts. 1, 2, 3 things. 3 potential catalysts just above my entry, which was the break of $2. And possible dominoes that could get knocked down in a possible squeeze. And you can see 200,000 shares come in during this 5-minute candle. I got long right here. I sold some as it tested the previous day's high, and then did this, and I just back out, just like I just talked about, right? I pay myself into a pop, and then if it comes back to my entry, I just get back out, right? I could always have retaken this if it broke 206 again. I didn't because it chopped down. I don't know. It was kind of just choppy, and it broke again, and it just didn't follow through. I really, really liked the chart though, and it just goes to show, just like back in when I was younger, my dating life, it doesn't matter how much you love something, it's not always going to love you back, right? And the same thing with stocks. So it just didn't follow through. I didn't lose on it. I got long, sold some, out the rest, and made a few bucks. Nothing to brag about, but trading defensively, just like I teach, saves me, right? Keeps me in the game. So anyway, I'm going to watch it again tomorrow because if it can get some volume back through to, then I like it over 209. If you look at you've got this huge volume pop back here, nice support below. It's holding the 20-day, and it's trying to break out through this 2 area. So I definitely want to watch it. All right, but I was a little disappointed that it didn't follow through today. I thought we had one there. ABIL looks a little bit loose to me with these kind of tails, but it's also kind of interesting. It had a strong close. Let me pan out a little bit here. Certainly over $1.70, it's interesting. A break of the half tomorrow, a break of $1.50 would be a break of today's high. and then you've got it talking about stat catalyst, then you've got another high and another high just above. So a possible breakout there. When I go to the daily, it still feels a little weird to me with all the little, topping tails, bottoming tails. It's just, I don't know. It's a little, I call it a little bit loose. So I'm not in love with it, but I want to keep an eye on it. All right. MOSY. You had the big pop yesterday, but it gave some of it back. And a quiet inside day today. So let's watch this for a possible break of today's high. Over 194, might push through 2. If it gets through 2, they might get excited again. I mean, 20 million shares yesterday. Certainly one to watch, and it's holding up, fairly well. EKSO, really nice volume day, closing pretty strong. I'll look for a follow-through day in that one tomorrow. Remember, guys, I'm a day trader. I'm only looking for trades to take tomorrow. I'm in cash before the closing bell every night. GTXI, another red day. I actually gave an idea in this one today, and I'll share that with you. I gave an idea as this was coming up. Let me zoom in a little bit. Because you had the huge day, then you had a quiet inside day, and then you had, for the first 10 minutes of selling, I thought if this can turn, I called it back through the red, basically a red to green, through the open. I called it and didn't get it myself. 479 would have been the entry with a high of day break just above that, and you can see what happened. It went to almost 5. You get long at 479, and it goes to 497. There's no excuse to lose money on it. Again, it wasn't a barn burner, but it was no excuse to lose money on it. Got a little flag, and I mentioned it when it was in this flag too. I said, hey guys, I missed this entry. I kind of like this flag. It might break this flag, push through 5 and get some momentum, and didn't do much, right? Went to like 508. But the initial call was right here. And it made a nice move from there. If you think about it, 479 to 508 isn't bad. It's not great, but again, it was FOMC morning and nothing was really falling through. I still like it. I like it. I like the huge pop and then 2 days lower on declining volume. Still think it's one to watch tomorrow. SYNA, man, just another red day. This thing is beaten senseless. Let me pan out a little bit here. I don't really have any kind of area of support except maybe, this might have another day. I like it, $50, it's had nice support. I don't know what it's going to do tomorrow, but certainly overdue for a bounce. I'm going to keep my eyes on that. Same with Starbucks. Just another red day, SBUX. I don't have any kind of expectation. Here's where I'm going to get long or anything like that. I only trade if I get a proper intraday setup. So this one's overdue for a bounce. And if the market shows some strength, some of the former Wall Street darlings like Starbucks might catch a bid. So I'm going to have that one on watch. Pandora is the opposite of a Wall Street darling, but it's so beaten up, the letter P here, that it might bounce tomorrow, again, only with a proper intraday setup. And then lastly, I've got CCIH, which has found support. After this big 2-day move, it's kind of chopped around and it's found support at the 20-day. I kind of like it over this 2 or 3 day high, so I'm going to keep my eyes on that one too. Real quick, 5-minute candle. Yeah, it was just a chop fest today. I didn't do anything with it today. And then in addition to this, hopefully we'll find some decent gappers tomorrow. I only need one decent trade a day, so I'm extremely conservative, and I won't take an entry until it meets all the criteria that we teach in our trading course, and that's when I get involved. And just a quick shot of my equity curve so far this year. And I show this, I don't do it to brag or anything. I show it because for years I struggled with, do I show my profits? Do I tell people how much I made today? I don't ever want to be one of those pumpers. Oh, look how much I made. I made $4,000 a day. Some of these guys post that. They run chat rooms. I made $4,000 a day. Then the next day they lose $4,000. And to me, a professional trader, their equity curve should look like this, right? A few bumps in the road, but overall just steady gains. And this isn't, each one of these isn't a day. It's per trade. It's based on number of trades. And so this is so far through today and this is January 1st. Well, actually the 3rd was the first trading day of the year. But I do this to kind of, I don't know, offer proof that I actually practice what I preach. And everything I do in my trading is everything we teach in the course. And for me, a lot of people get enamored with the, you log into StockTwits or Twitter, and every time you log in, you see the same face show up because it's a sponsored ad. And I contend people that are advertising like crazy their chat rooms and how great they are and how much money they made today. I contend that they're advertising because they need new people in there. Maybe to push stocks up for them, or they need to make a steady living because they're trading so choppy. I don't know, but I haven't spent a dime on advertising this year. We still have between 250 and 300 in the room every morning, and I'm proud of that. And that's because that group of people has discovered that it's a great place to trade, and we all look out for each other, and we're all there trying to help each other. And I'm very proud of that. Again, I don't advertise it all. I don't want people in the room coming to the room thinking, "Ooh, I'm going to make 4,000 today because the guru head in the room made 4,000 yesterday." I'm just slow and steady, and that's exactly what I teach. So again, I don't mean this to be bragging in any way. I'm trying to caution new traders that there's a lot of crap out there, and there's a lot of people that make trading look like the path to millions. And you know what trading is? It is a fantastic, fantastic life. You have so much freedom, not because of the millions and all that, but you have so much freedom because you get to work from home. You're your own boss. And if you treat it like a business, and we teach you how to do that, you can just make steady money, and you can do it in sweatpants, right? So I'm not going to lie, it's a fantastic life, but it's more about the freedom of being your own boss. And if you don't treat it like a business and you jump into trading and you're wanting to gamble, you're not going to be in this game very long. So make sure that you're at least seeking out somebody who's got a steady equity curve like this without any massive wild swings, because you're doing yourself a disservice if you enter this game like you would walk into a casino. All right? Anyway, any questions, shoot me an email. I'm here to help at all times. Enjoy your evening. We'll see everybody tomorrow.